We think we're raising honest kids, but we're actually training world class liars. Tommy was 12 when his dad had abandoned the family and he was drowning in grief. Instead of reaching out, he started lying about everything, and his mom took it personally. She told me, I raised him to tell the truth, and now he's a liar. But Tommy wasn't lying because he's a bad kid. Honesty just felt like one more thing that could blow up his world. Kids don't lie because they're bad. They lie because honesty feels dangerous. And I'm going to show you exactly how you're creating that danger without even knowing it. No kid starts out as a liar. Lying is a learned protective strategy. So to a kid, your disappointment means consequences they don't want to face. When they mess up, they realize telling the truth means a lecture, getting grounded, losing their phone, or facing your anger. So they lie to avoid all of that. Every time honesty triggers a big reaction, they learn that telling the truth is too costly. So your kid fails a test, but lies and tells you he doesn't know what his grade is. He breaks something and tells you it was already broken. You think this is defiance or laziness, but it's really fear. And we create that fear when we have big reactions. When you catch them in a lie, your instinct is to punish. But punishment actually rescues them from their own guilt. It gives them someone else to be mad at, which is you. Now, instead of sitting with what they did, they're focused on how unfair you're being. You've essentially replaced their conscience with your anger, and you just made the problem worse. You already know they didn't finish their homework, and you can see it's not done, but you ask anyway, did you finish your homework? When you ask a question you already know the answer to, you're not seeking the truth. You're inviting a lie and setting a trap. Now they've learned that honesty is a trap. When your reaction depends on your mood instead of the rules, kids stop trying to figure out right from wrong and just start managing you. One day, staying up late is fine, and the next day, you lose it over the same thing. They're not learning boundaries. They're just learning that you can be unpredictable, and they'll stop using you as a guide and start treating you as something to be avoided. We ask them to be honest with us, and they tell us something hard. They admit they messed up, and then 2 weeks later, in a completely different argument, we weaponize it. You always do this. Remember when you lied about your math test? So anything they say gets used against them later. And now they stop saying anything. Over time, they stop asking themselves, is this right? And start asking, will I get caught? They get really good at managing you instead of managing themselves. And you've replaced their conscience with worrying about what you think. But you can fix this. What do you actually do when you catch them in a lie? Your first job when you catch a lie is connection, not correction. Your instinct is to address the lie immediately. But if you lead with correction, you've just confirmed what they've already feared. Honesty will trigger a lecture, anger, and distance from you. And it makes you a threat instead of making you safe. So it's always connection first. You regulate yourself, pause, sit down if you have to, lower your voice, buy time. You can even say, I need a minute so I don't say something I regret. But then you ask one question. What made it feel safer to lie to me than to tell the truth? Some kids will answer immediately, I thought you'd be mad. I didn't want to disappoint you. I thought you'd take everything away. Some kids might shrug and say, I don't know. And that's fine. You can just respond by saying, you don't have to answer right now, but I'm not asking to trap you. I'm asking because I want to understand what felt hard about telling me the truth. You separate connection from consequence immediately and say, we're going to address what happened, but right now, I just want to understand. You're not avoiding the consequence, you're deferring it. So it actually works because you can't solve a problem with a child who's busy calculating how to avoid a lecture or losing their phone. If they're in defense mode, they're not listening to you. They're just trying to survive the next 10 minutes. So you make it safe first and get to the consequences later. This is where they learn that honesty doesn't always trigger a complete shutdown of their world. If they don't learn that here, they're just going to get better at hiding from you. Once they feel safe enough to tell you, you can explore what actually happened. Why did they lie? And this is where you get to the real issue, because the lie is never really about the lie. Were they overwhelmed by homework and didn't know how to ask for help? Were they afraid of looking stupid? This is also where you talk about how their lying hurts relationships, but you do it with warmth, not judgment. You can say, when you lie to me, it changes the nature of our relationship and it makes it impossible for me to help you. And I want to help you. That's not a lecture, that's connection. You want to punish them now, and I get it. But here's what happens when you do that. Your child already feels bad, and that internal disapproval is working on them, and it's powerful. But the moment you add punishment, they stop feeling their own guilt and start resenting you. You've just given them an enemy. Now, instead of sitting with what they did, they're mad at you, and you just rescued them from their own conscience. But by making it safe for them to open up to you, you've created a connection, and that connection is your superpower. This is what gives them their own internal voice when they're 15 and someone offers them a vape at a party and you're not there. Without that connection, they'll just listen to whoever's standing in front of them, which won't be you. If you don't do this, you aren't just raising a liar. You're raising a kid who will spend their entire life looking for someone else to tell them who they are because they never learned to listen to themselves. You didn't just raise a kid who hides things. You raised a kid who doesn't even know who they are. I know this is heavy, but all you need to do is replace fear with safety and connection. When your child feels safe and connected, they'll stop spending all their energy trying to survive your punishment or your disappointment. And that shift is what gives you your superpower. That's when you have real influence to point them inward toward their own conscience. Pointing them inward forces them to face their own internal disapproval. That dissonance, which is the gap between who they are and what they just did, is actually what changes them because we can't live with that gap. We have to either change our behavior or change how we feel about our behavior. And that internal compass is what ultimately ends the lying. You still set limits, you still have high expectations, but you're not using fear or anger to enforce them. You're using connection and credibility to guide them toward their own internal compass. If you want to build that kind of relationship with your child, I have a course called Connection and Credibility at drtoddtalks.com. It walks you through exactly how to become the kind of parent your child turns toward instead of away from. If you're not ready for that, I have free articles, YouTube videos, and podcast episodes that you can access from my website anytime at drtoddtalks.com. All right, I'll see you next time.